and this is Harold Moses, and I'm absolutely delighted to be introducing him. Whenever I think of Harold, I think of a polar bear, and it reminds me of his orientation to a great truth, which is that love pervades everything and anchors in the heart. So he's this inspired, embodied teacher of translating that intangible substance of love into music, the healing, loving power. So at the end of his presentation, he's going to give us some music. So thank you, Harold.
Well, good morning. You have a handout called the Bach Principle. If you could find that, we'll be referring to it several times. Bach said, "I want to demonstrate to the world the architecture of a new and beautiful social commonwealth. The secret of my harmony, I alone know it. Each instrument in counterpoint and as many contrapuntal parts as there are instruments. It is the enlightened self-discipline of the various parts, each voluntarily imposing on itself the limit of its individual freedom for the well-being of the community. That is my message. Not the autocracy of a single stubborn melody on the one hand, nor the anarchy of unchecked noise on the other. No, a delicate balance between the two. An enlightened freedom, the science of my art, the harmony of the stars and the heavens, the yearning for brotherhood in the hearts of men. This is the secret of my music." I want to begin this presentation by saying this quote came into my hand by way of photocopy many years before the internet. Subsequent searches online have failed to yield irrefutable evidence that this quote is actually Bach's. Not that anyone else claims it. Rigorous and rousing discussion regarding the authenticity of this now well-circulated quote render nothing but opinion in the end. Some say that it is far too mystical, while others actually question if Bach had the sort of intelligence to be so philosophical. One professor went so far as to say, it sounds more like something Wagner would have written. Musical types are always full of opinions, it seems, and this presenter will prove to be no exception. I am of the opinion that Bach did write this, and if he did not, he should have. Buried within this quote is a formula for living together in harmony through the creation of vibrational architecture. Vibrational architecture. These two words excite vibrationalists to their core, for here we find a summary statement regarding the cosmic symphony, sympathetic harmony, vibrational integrity. I have titled this talk the Bach Principle. It is based on research that suggests the application of the formula revealed in this quote will achieve the stated objective. By exploring this quote verse by verse, we will discover together the principle within. I want to demonstrate to the world the architecture of a new and beautiful social commonwealth. I love that this demonstration is designed for the world. For the most part, I find localized truth problematic. If truth is true, it must be true for me, and it must be true for you. Long before taglines and social networking memes, Bach proposed an idea which would empower the masses to act locally and think globally. As utopian as a new and beautiful social commonwealth sounds, Bach is clearly convinced he's onto something workable. I want to demonstrate to the world, to the nations, to the people. I have a model which incorporates a replicable architecture which encourages individuals to flourish as a group in a society. It is worth noting that architecture was described by Goethe as frozen music. Reverse this paradigm and consider the idea that music is liquid architecture. This liquidity of music is a function of the graceful manipulation of vibrational energies and relationships. a skill which Bach mastered masterfully. His new and beautiful social commonwealth is an outpouring of insight and intuition, cultivated and demonstrated through his mathematically precise ventures into harmony. The secret of my harmony, I alone know it. Some would say there is no secret in Bach's music other than how he wrote so much of it so quickly, so perfectly, and so beautifully. When it comes to harmony, every composer works with the same essential task: to manipulate frequencies in a manner which stimulates energy through the creation of right relationship. Again, to manipulate frequencies in a manner that stimulates energy through the creation of right relationship. Composers have a palette which includes notes and rests of different lengths, symbols which describe a sudden or gradual increase or decrease in volume, and a staff, which is a bit like a combination of a ruler and a graph. We push notes around on the staff to influence pitch, or more accurately, frequency. The harmonic success of a musical composition is a function of juxtaposing these elements. Imagination and proficiency rule. It is hardly a secret among those who study such things. And though only casually related, it is interesting to note that scholars have discovered many of Bach's melodies actually spell words and phrases. Using a German system of musical cipher based on assigning letters of the alphabet to specific note names, Bach spelled out dedications to individuals, the names of his family members, and numerous adorations to the divine. In a manner of study not unlike the Bible code, systematic sleuthing of his scores can reveal words and phrases which appear letter by letter and note by note. And still, this is not the secret of which he speaks. What is this secret of his harmony? Each instrument in counterpoint and as many contrapuntal parts as there are instruments. You will note on your handout I've included these simple yet necessary definitions. Counterpoint, a melody combined with another melody. Either melody can be higher or lower in pitch than the other melody. Contrapuntal is music characterized by counterpoint. The goal of counterpoint is to establish a fluid relationship in which each melody moves independently of the other, while maintaining a right relationship as described in the rules of harmony. In Figure 2, you will see a score which features a two-part contrapuntal movement. All right, you can see the high staff and the low staff. These are two parts. Now, turn your page sideways and look at the music down the line. View the progression of notes as if a path of rocks has been strewn in a stream. Note how each path changes direction to the left and to the right. This deliberate meandering of melody allows for a remarkable effect achieved through the contrapuntal relationship. These melodies actually join one another at the beginning of measure 3. Look at that, isn't that lovely how the bottom line rises up to meet the top line, and there the notes share their stems. These melodies join together as they converge upon the same stone in the water. So let's listen now to this 60-second marvel. Two parts only. When Bach speaks of each instrument being in counterpoint, he means that if he composes a score featuring 2 violins and a cello, each will play their own melody. It does not matter that each instrument will play notes which are higher or lower than the other instruments. Our right-hand photo, number 3, figure 3, shows measures from the Brandenburg Concerto number 5. Notice the movement of 5 different parts. Bach says as many contrapuntal parts as there are instruments. This simply means that if more instruments come to the party, they will all be given their own melody. Oh, that sounds dangerous. I mean, what if we took a room full of people and just asked them to sing whatever they wanted to sing? Let's enact this experiment. In the privacy of your own mind, think or create a melody. Ready? Oh, well, let's try this. This is an experiment. That's the first thing to remember. The only rule is quite simple. Sing something, sing anything. Either a melody you know or one you've never heard before. Your melody may feature any lyrics you choose or be made up with syllables. This is open-ended, all right? Understand the experiment? Now, at a medium level of volume, we're going to begin and we're going to sing some melody, all right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, sing. All right. So, let's try it one more time, this time with mouths open. You're not likely to hear this following directive in any other presentations this week. So with great enthusiasm, I implore you, shed your vibrational inhibitions and sing. Sing something, sing anything, and do sing with your mouth open. Ready? Again. Well, we meant well. Let's allow Bach to infer why we achieved this result and how the outcome could be made different. He says, it is the enlightened self-discipline of the various parts, each voluntarily imposing on itself the limits of its individual freedom for the well-being of the community. That is my message. The global propagation of Bach's new and beautiful social commonwealth depends on the successful application of certain design criteria. We've heard the message. Now here are the rules. Enlightened self-discipline. This is something which is so easy to expect of others. Truthfully, self-discipline is not so rare. Our world is actually filled with examples in business and industry, health and wellness, as well as motivational and recovery movements. The self-discipline of which Bach speaks, however, is enlightened. I believe this implies the presence of an energetic signature which is vibrationally encoded by guidance and purpose. Thus, we may be assured that such a disciple or such a discipline will result in a motivation to serve others. Indeed, Bach continues that this self-discipline is to be maintained by every instrument. Further, each instrument, voice, or person is expected to voluntarily implode, right. Each instrument, well, you'll see why we're going there. Each instrument, voice, or person is expected to voluntarily impose limits on their individual freedom. Well, there's the implosion, right? That seems counterproductive at some level. I mean, if I've trained to be able to play all the notes of any scale, why should I consider limiting myself to only certain ones? For the well-being of the community. What Bach proposes is a beautiful society in which individuals are encouraged to articulate their participation through a series of heartful, intelligent choices, all served on a bed of freshly tossed melodies. An undulating sea of vibrational energy rises and falls in sympathetic response to the intentional right relationship. Bach says, not the autocracy of a single stubborn melody on the one hand, nor the anarchy of unchecked noise on the other. This message is liberating, Autocracy in any form ultimately creates distress for some group of people. A stubborn melody is an inflexible melody, one which requires every instrument to match another's note. Let's look at our handout again and study the figure 1. Bach outlined in this page the ranges of different human voices and provides clefs used for the most efficient notation. Now, what we can learn at a very quick glance is that some voices sing very high and others sing very low. And so it is in community. Now, at the other end of the gauge regarding what this principle lies is the hell of unchecked noise. We had an opportunity to experience that a few moments ago. A curious thing about unchecked noise, in our experiment, though everyone was singing a melody, the net result was in fact noise. From a vibrational perspective, noise is non-functioning chaos. It serves no end and leaves all who participate drained of vitality. My song, your song, his song, her song, no rhyme, no key, we are lost in cacophony. No, a delicate balance between the two, an enlightened freedom, balanced between the extremity of autocracy and unchecked or unregulated noise, the beautiful community experiences and expressions of vibrational integrity which is poised, balanced, and dynamic. Streams of ever-changing energy efficiently and artistically codified, organized, and magnified through right relationship. That is harmony in motion. Enlightened Freedom sings her song in multi-part and multiverse. Enlightened Freedom, sweet the sound, a model of the universe. Notes moving this way, flowing in that, in time, in tune, intoned in rhyme, nesting waves of frequency, in tune, in time, intoned, divine. Bach says, the science of my art, the harmony of the stars in the heavens, the yearning for brotherhood in the hearts of men. The science of his art and the art of his science. Here we see the dynamic contrasts between the macrocosm of the heavens and the microcosm of the heart. These 2 points of reference, vast in their scope, provide the context for Bach's principle. I would love to know exactly what Bach meant by the harmony of the stars in the heavens. It is potent language for the master of harmony. I have no reason to believe one way or another if it is a veiled reference to astrological concepts. I would not be surprised if Bach were quite familiar with the concept of the harmony of the spheres as well. What he meant, however, remains a mystery. I do believe Bach would be delighted to know that science has discovered stars are spherical bells which ring and sing a collection of frequencies or notes. Our own sun has more than 10 million notes and a heart note, which sounds within its vibrational signature. The scientific data we now possess would no doubt magnify Bach's own faith in God. He apparently was well acquainted with the inner workings of the cosmic symphony. Our families and communities and countries are symphonies as well. A quick and cursory survey of the world allows us to identify examples of stubborn melodies and unchecked noise. The yearning for brotherhood in the hearts of men, however, remains a continuing quest. Our ideas, our contexts, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our beliefs ultimately come together on a field of harmony where hearts are free to conspire toward greater common ground and commonwealth. This is the secret of my music. Well, the best secrets are contained in layers, consisting of vibrational coordinates plotted within a field of energy. The music of Bach demonstrates magnificently the effect of harmony played by the rules. Bach's mind, body, spirit comprised a vibrational matrix of comprehension, experience, and ecstasy, which is unique to the master. Whether we study the maps and scores or listen to the models, Bach's music rings forth the principle note by note. Every score a delicate balance, clothed in understated magnificence, regulated by architectural elegance. Bach not only demonstrated the architecture, he provided a model and a method for replication. So let's experiment again. This time we're going to apply the architecture of the principle to our adventure in sound and vibration. Bach's architecture presents a novel and useful flow chart. We'll review the components of the principle and then enact our new experience. The application. Bach's architecture summarizes. Number 1, be enlightened, be connected, be conscious, be tuned in and in tune. The setting of intonation around the experience is important. Allow harmonic guidance to lead the way. Number 2, self-discipline maintains a forward momentum. Contrapuntal melodies are always in motion. Thus, self-discipline includes aspects of balance, poise, self-awareness, and awareness of others. Enjoy these moments of enlightenment. Next, we're going to voluntarily impose limits on our individual freedoms. The purpose is to regulate and moderate our pitches and volumes to be honoring to others and to interface in right relationship. This will not be painful. I will pick a musical key and outline the notes which are available. Once we get started, if it sounds to you as if the note you have chosen is not for the good of the community, by all means, choose a new one. Finally, the motivation of this exercise is to throw ourselves headlong into the creation of spontaneous beauty, while allowing the social commonwealth to establish equilibrium. In such an environment, harmony will flourish. We will soon experience what all of this sounds like. I suggest you may find yourself singing or toning in ways that are new to you and to your neighbor. Enjoy the journey. One last word of encouragement. To successfully enact this principle, everyone in this room must believe this one thing. We are all capable of participating at some level. You know, really, that's what it is. If we have this view that the world can, in fact, become this utopian social commonwealth, we must fundamentally believe that every person can participate at some level. So here's our opportunity. Now, you may be a closet master of melody, or you may be a harmonic curmudgeon. The level of skill required by a violinist is far greater than that of the musician who plays the cowbell. Nonetheless, it is the sum total of the mix that creates the social commonwealth. Now the lyrics. We're going to keep these extremely simple. I'll ask you to voluntarily limit your lyrics to short phrases that relate to love. At the very bottom of your page, you see examples of some short phrases. I love love. Love loves me, love loves you, all is love, I am love loves love. Whatever you want to choose or anything you want to modify with that, those are going to be our lyrics. We're going to sing for a few minutes, giving the group the opportunity to blend together in harmony without the necessity for a written score or for rehearsals. This may be considered free-form counterpoint, since everyone in this room will be creating some sort of a melody based on the notes that are offered. In your mind, it may be helpful to see yourself singing from one stepping stone to the next. If perchance you fall in the gap, there will be a room full of melodies pulling you back to safety. Here are our choices for some of the notes we can sing. So let's just try that. If you can sing this and this and this and this and this. All right, well, there you go. So somewhere in there are some notes that you're comfortable with. So if that means you sing, I am love, you are love, that's great. I am love, you are love. I love, love, you love, love, love loves me. It's that simple. Bob's going to give us a little reinforcement. We'll call in the angels, allow them to fill the room, and then we will blend our voices with theirs. Let's begin. I am love, you are love, we are love, 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 love. I am love, we are love, I love love, and love loves me. Love loves you. I am love. We are love. Love, love, love. I am love. You are love. We are love. All is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love. All is love, love, love. Love. All is love. A new and beautiful social commonwealth indeed. Thank you.